everybody. Welcome to Fly Free Bird Podcast. I have a special guest here on today. Her name is Rebeca, and she is one of my favorite yoga teachers. And welcome, Rebeca.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited.
Oh, I'm excited too. We were just talking about like how long we both have been going to yoga and in this community that we're in. And I don't know, it is a community. And once you're in, it's like you have your favorite teachers, you make a point to go to their class, you love their wisdom and philosophy and like just them as a person. And a lot of times you're like, I really want them to be my friend. So I'm actually like really happy you're here.
But like also like I also want to be your friend too. So this is like super, like we also feel that as well, because like we're constantly trying to get conversation to happen after class. And so much of our experience is like, how was things?
Yeah.
Great, bye. And everyone's just like running to the next thing. And so when like relationships start to form through this space, it's actually like the sweetest thing. So I'm really happy to be here.
Oh, good. See, this could be a start of, this friendship.
Exactly.
And even though we've like known each other for years, but like just like tidbits here and there, through like social media and yoga class. Hey, how's it going? And then a little bit we keep talking about more and more and more,
Yeah.
So this is exciting. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, yoga is like dear to my heart because it's been probably like, I've been practicing since for 13 years now. And it really is a practice and, it really is a community too. And I feel like we're all like-minded individuals and we're just drawn to each other. So to like build this gap of like, hey, I only go to yoga with you, but I kind of want to be your friend. Like, maybe we're the start of it, you know? So
for sure. I mean, and even just like the more people that you sprinkle into this space that you're creating also starts to just weave in these like little threads that create like this little connection to a lot of stuff. So yeah. And maybe you're just like bridging a lot of gaps for this community. I don't know. Maybe you've begun to like spin this little like web.
It's like, it's okay for a teacher and student to be friends. Yeah. It's okay. But no, thank you for being here. And I've always like loved your philosophy that you bring to class and your like grounded energy. And I just want to know more about you and your background and maybe shedding some light on the yogic wisdom and helping others break free, right, from whatever's holding them back. Yeah. So that's kind of like where I want to take this conversation, and let's just see where it goes.
Okay.
So yeah, Rebeca, tell me, how did you start yoga? What inspired you?
Okay, so first, when I like went to an actual yoga class, I hated it.
Me too.
It was
my
so
first one, I hated it. I got off a plane and was like, let's go do some yoga. That sounds like the thing to do after you like take an international trip and like get back and are jet lagged. And I took a class and it was like air conditioned and really slow and like I was like, this isn't it. I can do this anytime, and I just didn't I didn't understand it yet, I guess. Or it just wasn't the style for me at the time, because now I love just laying on the floor and doing nothing. Right.
But fast forward maybe 3 or 4 months, and one of my friends in like my dance cohort that I was in when I was in college, she's like, okay, I'm going to take you to my yoga studio, which happened to be CorePower Yoga. And then I took my first class in Costa Mesa. And
my first class was in Costa Mesa,
and I was like, this is different.
Yes.
This is everything that I didn't get that one day. And like, this is what I can do every single day. I think the heat brought a fun element to that, because it was nice and sweaty. So you have this sort of cathartic feeling after things like physically. And then it was a vinyasa class, so there was that dancey component of really moving around, and it was just less like stationary, and I think that really spoke to me as far as it just like awakened the possibility of like, oh, there's more to the thing.
Right.
And then fast forward again, like once I started doing yoga more consistently, I like realized that I was doing yoga all the time. Yeah. That I was already like, I knew the names of these shapes just in a different form from like a dance perspective.
Oh, okay.
And then I did, and I mean, fast forward, like back, now rewind to like what to what I did before that. And I was a theater major and a dance major. So I knew these posture names through dance and like crescent lunge just looks like a lunge in some aspects. But then like getting more into yoga, I was like things like eagle or like fish and stuff like that. I was doing those in an acting perspective in like this acting class that we did where we like use these yoga shapes to just sort of like create that sort of inner space for yourself to then build a character from.
Right.
And so I was like, oh, I was already doing yoga way before, and I just like didn't know that it was yoga because it was disguised as this like acting technique.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so I was like, oh, I had no idea that I was already immersed in this thing that I just didn't know about, which is kind of wild to think about it in that way now of like how vast this practice is and how old this practice is too, and how it's shown up in so many different modalities, without you even realizing that you're some form of a practitioner somewhere.
Right.
You know, it's interesting.
Wow.
So that's like that's how I started my first like yoga class, and then eventually it just soaked up that community a little bit more. When I finished college is when I signed up for teacher training.
Oh, so you did it right after college.
I like signed myself up. Nobody had to have the conversation with me. It was like, you should do teacher training. Have you ever thought about it? I was like, I think I took a few classes and was like, oh, I could easily do this. Like this, I could see myself teaching. I hate teaching dance. I'm not a dance teacher. But was like, this is something that I feel like I can create.
Wow. And
so like I called corporate, I was like, hi, I'd like to sign up for teacher training.
You're like the only one.
I know, I was like their dream case. They're like, somebody enrolled in this program.
You're like, did anyone talk to you? And you're like, no, I just want to do it.
They're like, how'd you find out about it? Like, just you got to get certified, right?
Yeah. You know what? The sentence that changed my life is like, your life will change after taking this. And I was like, oh, well, I could go for a life change right now.
Oh, that's so cool, though.
Yeah.
So like even before this was like your phase of life too.
Yeah.
That sentence of like you were already like starting to like break free from something.
Well, I was trying to break free, right? And I felt stuck, and when he's like, your life will change if you take this class, and I swear those were like the words that were like, well, it couldn't hurt.
I need something.
2017, and I think it was 2017, and now what are we, 2025, and I'm breaking free, I guess. Well, it took me a few years, but you know.
But I think you were doing it in just subconscious ways, like to know that like your body and your mind had this response to like this is gonna change your life, and you like oh okay, like you were already like emerging from one of the cages, you know.
I agree. And I mean, there is something about it when you go through teacher training, you become immersed in the culture and you make friends, and you realize like these are the type of people I want to be around. You know?
And that's what I'll say about like when I signed up for teacher training, I definitely knew that I was very interested in the prospect of teaching, because I was like, okay, this is a skill that I think I can turn into something that'll help me get to where I want to go. At the time I left college and I was like, I want to move to New York eventually. I want to dance. I want to audition and just kind of like do the hustle thing and be the starving artist and grind. So I'm going to do this teacher training. This is going to be a marketable thing that I can I can teach yoga anywhere. So like it was going to be the thing that took me somewhere else that was still like in my field of movement. So I didn't have to like get a 9-to-5 or anything like that. And then I was there at night 1 and was like, this is what love feels like.
Oh my God. I got the chills.
Isn't that crazy?
Night 1 of teacher training?
Yeah, like we did a class and we talked and was like, I'm not here for skill set anymore. Like I'm here because of the people in this room. And like that was when my life changed, as far as like what yoga was going to bring me was something so much bigger than I originally called corporate to sign up for.
Right.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's amazing.
And then now here I am, like this will be my 9th year of teaching that I'll get to close out, and it's the thing that I'm doing every single day. Yeah.
So I guess through these 9 years of teaching, what do you feel like you've learned the most?
I'm still learning.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
That you never stop. Like first, like I don't even know, like, for, like, if you go back to that first part of it, like, truly, like, didn't know that, like, love can exist in a room like that.
Wow.
Of people just, like, and we talked about this before we, like, started recording, but, like, of like-minded people all doing the same thing and all sort of, like, in this little, like, community that you're starting to build. Like, I didn't know that was possible in that way. And that's insane because, like, I had a full cohort of family of dancers that, like, I was with, like, for 4 years throughout that college experience. But, like, that class, like, I just remember being in Shavasana and, like, having that experience where, like, you cry and you're like,
oh my gosh,
wow, this is everything I didn't know that I needed. And so, like, throughout becoming, like, a teacher, it's just been so much of, like, how to discover yourself, I think. And that's the biggest thing that I'm, like, trying to teach people how to do, is that this practice really lets you slow down and, like, understand more. Yeah. And that doesn't have to be any one thing. There's just the vastness of all the things you get to understand through that, whether it's, like, how loved you are, how much space you can create for yourself, like, how to love yourself. You know, like, I think what it really did for me is it put me in contact with all these people that I didn't know I was going to need to show me the things to show me the things that I needed to learn. And so, like, when I think of, like, what I learned through yoga, it's also, I don't know, maybe it's, like, connection is actually one of the things that I learned the most, because it was opening myself up to people in a really big way. And finding the right people that I needed to, like, open up to, so that they can show me how to open up to myself. I don't know. It's just, like, kind of meta feeling of, like, or, like, Russian dolls of, like, opening a box after a box after a box and just, like, keep uncovering all the things until you get to, like, you. Eventually.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because I know you guys always say it's, like, you're the teacher, but we're your teacher as well, like the students, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I learned, like, so much from you all, even just, like, how to show up in the room that day. Because not every day is different. Like, every day is different. Some Mondays feel like we're going to be a go-getter, and some Mondays feel like we need to decompress from whatever we did on Sunday.
Slow down.
You know? And that's, like, a deep listening practice. And so it's, like, an exchange with people.
Do you ever, like, change your classes, like, last minute because of who's in the room or, like, the energy you feel?
I think what I changed the most is, like, the approach to whatever I'm teaching. So, like, as a mover, we kind of got the stuff that's set there. But I'll change the way that I deliver the content. And so, like, I might have envisioned it going a little bit speedy and having this, like, fun energy when I created something. And then I'm like, oh, okay, we need to, like, take a chill pill. So, like, or depending if I have, like, a lot of beginners in the room, I might just choose my words a lot more, like, efficiently. Instead of getting, like, too floaty about things. And it depends on the day of the week. Like, one of my classes is really, I can walk in and they know we're going to, like, go for a ride. And then there's another community that I teach at, and they're a brand new community. So I have to get really slow and grounded because they're not used to going to the back of the room and then upside down and then somewhere else. Like, they need to be, like, walked through it a bit more too. So I just changed the way that I'm teaching the class. But I don't necessarily change the movement. That makes sense. It's like adjusting to the energy, the crowd, but, like, keeping up with your original plan, kind of. I mean, because sometimes my plan is, like, a little wild and crazy to change on the fly. So I'm like, okay. I can't rethink all these postures, but I can slow myself down. I can tune into, like, what I need to bring right now. And I think that's been the most useful for me as, like, a teacher of many types of people who walk into the yoga studio. So do you see yourself still incorporating yoga into the whole dance and theater thing, or is that pretty much just a hobby now? Dance is a full-time hobby now. Or not a full-time hobby, like a sprinkled time hobby, like just hop in every once in a while. I don't act anymore. I acted through college-ish. Like I studied theater.
Yeah.
And then when I was studying theater, I took my first like full-length ballet class.
Wow.
And then was like, and I can like, sort of re-edit this too of like, I went to school for musical theater.
Yeah.
So then we did acting, dance, and singing classes, you know. And that's when I took my first full-length ballet class. When I was like a child, I took like mini like tap dance classes and like ballet classes, but then I was an athlete for like my teenage years.
Okay.
I got to college and did this full-length ballet class and was like, oh, I have to be a dancer to be on Broadway. Duh, that makes sense. So then I started dancing like throughout the summers in between like semesters, and I fell in love with that.
Wow.
So then I added dance as a major and like just have like a general theater degree, and I have like more of a specialized like concentration in dance as my like background of arts and stuff. I danced for a while after college and danced for just like a local company, and I still like go and see them and support them, and they're my best friends and whatnot. But now I just take class to support myself as a mover, and yoga is the thing that I'm spending most of my time like doing and teaching as like my passion, and also like the thing that feeds me too. Right. In a lot of ways, like physically feeds me like my face and my body, and then also like feeds my soul.
It physically feeds you.
Yes, it helps me buy
food,
a bunch of stuff.
Literally.
Yes.
Oh my God. No, I've been drawn to your classes and your style because it does feel like a dance and like a moving, dancing meditation. And that's why I'm so drawn to your style, because you do move throughout the mat, and you, at that time, you like kind of forget whatever is going on in your mind, you know? And to me, that's a feeling of freedom too, because you don't have time to really think, but you're like enjoying the flow, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of like how yoga and dance can relate to life, right? It's like follow the music and adjust, and like if you don't like the song, change it, right? But I know we've talked about how like yoga is kind of like life, right? And how to bring what we learn like on the mat to like outside of the mat and to like everyday life. So I guess if you can just share some like wisdom of what we learn on the mat and how we can apply it to outside, you know, life.
Yeah, there's like so many different lessons that we can take from all of it, and I think every part of class gives you something to take away from. So the thing that I love to teach the most is a flow style class. And that is connecting all those postures, breath to movement, and creating that sort of dance-like feature. So we can break things down physically first. Like in a physical sense, it's how to listen to your body and shift your weight from side to side, shift your weight from up to down, from the front of the mat to the back of the mat, and really allowing yourself to be taken with things where you can get lost in a little bit. And so like, what are the lessons? Like one of the lessons, again, it could be to just like go with what's happening. Yeah. And then to also, another one is to listen to like the thing that's on the inside that's taking you there, that's allowing you to shift. In a physical sense, like just the way that you stand from 2 feet to 1 foot, like you have to pull your body weight with you, and you have to really listen to like all the faculties that are like at play there. Right. And so you can't be thinking about doing your laundry when you're trying to stand on one leg and grab your back foot with your other hand. Like you really have to be here and be present. Yeah. So that becomes another one of the lessons is to like really soak up the time that is happening, like the moment that's happening right here, right now. Right. Like even just in a physical sense of how you shift your weight and how you grab your back foot. And then, so then what happens underneath when you really allow yourself to slow down and, or it might not even be slow in my class if we move pretty fast, right? Like we're shifting all over the place. Right. And so
unless we're an HPF, I guess.
Unless we're an HPF, but in like a vinyasa style, like what happens when you allow yourself to just listen and see what is available to you. Yeah. You know, and when you do allow yourself to get really present. Yeah. like what becomes possible.
Yeah.
I think because if I were just to say like, okay, jump into like a revolve dancers and then do a half moon, that's like a really crazy transition. But you're like, how do I do that? How do I get to that?
Yeah.
And if you just slow down and listen to the body move and listen to like just your body move, you'll realize that there's a lot more that you're capable of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like when you break down the postures to like lead to the, say, the peak posture or whatnot, it's like you take us through the journey to get us there, right?
Yeah. And so now we're into like maybe the second wave of class where we're holding posture a little longer, we're playing with shapes that are more complex, and if you sequence in a way that like I sequence, we're trying to create this sort of progression, this journey. And one of the things you can take away is like small things add up to big things, you know?
Small things add up to big things. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and again, even just like a physical component, if you're just looking at the body, if we drill the sensation of lifting your heel to the sky and turning on the backside of your leg, when you get to revolve dancers at the second half of class, we've really turned on this sort of like honed in concentration of this one thing that's going to help us get to this other thing. So all these small little bits are adding into this big pile of fun stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And the way I look at that a little bit is if you apply it to like the outside world, is that sometimes I think people look at like the big picture and they get very overwhelmed. Say like a transition, like you're talking about, from that to that to that or whatever. And they're like, how could I ever do that? But it's like, if you break it down and you focus on the little things and like focus on one thing at a time, like it is possible. And I think it's like believing that things are possible but not getting caught up in like the how, right? And just like working through it.
Yeah, or another like great image that we work with too is like staring at a mountaintop. And you're like, I want to climb that, but like I don't even know what that looks like. That just looks like a big scary mountain and it looks super insane. And like I think our dreams can feel like that too. The things that we really want to accomplish and get done, they can feel like these really big mountaintops. And it's just buying the right shoes. Right. Getting the guide that says how you should do it. Reading the book. Putting your one foot in front of the other. Like small things. And then all of a sudden you've made your way to the top and you get to like see the whole world. Yeah. So it's really the small, tiny things that start to add up to these big moments where you're like, oh, yeah, I can do anything.
I can do that. And then to the moment of like, I did that. Yeah. I did that.
And so there's like your third wave of class. Now we've started to cool everything down. We've hit this big peak posture. We're starting to slow everything down and we get to that Shavasana moment where we're lying on the floor and there's sort of that cathartic feeling through the body of like being worked and sweating and have done the thing. Have done the things, yes. Have done the big thing, and you're like, wow. Look at what happens on the other side of 60 minutes of concentration.
Right. And I think with like growth and experience, you learn to just embrace that, like the Shavasana, how do you say it? But I think like in the beginning, like it's hard for people, like initially. Yeah. And then when you like work through, you know, you have the experience, you have yoga, and then it's like finally you're like, oh, this feels good. Like, I'm going to allow myself to rest. I've deserved this rest. But I know in the beginning, like, especially if you're kind of like a type A, it's like very hard to just allow yourself that final rest, you know?
And like, did you feel like your mind was just still going, or?
I think so. It's like there's a shift, like when you start yoga. I know from like experience, but also I think other people too. It's like you get into it because you're like, oh, like it's a good workout, or, you know, especially hot yoga. You get into it because it's like a good workout or like, and whatnot. And then when the shift comes to like the mental part of like, I actually need this for this, not actually for this, even though it benefits this too, you know, the body. But I I don't know. And now it's like I just embrace it. So like what frustrates me, but it annoys me that it frustrates me because it's not me, and it's like letting go of what other people do. It's when the students like leave early. That's more for like sculpt classes. But I'm like, can they just not take the 2 minutes and allow themselves the rest? I cannot stand it.
I know. And like
how
as a teacher, like it doesn't bother me anymore. I've gotten to this place where somebody will find it when they're ready to find it.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm just like, okay, you got what you needed today. You got what you think that you needed out of this thing. I think maybe it's feedback for me, and like,
right,
how can I share the benefits of this place a little bit more and see like what's going to draw people into that place of stillness. But I know that eventually, I just trust that they'll find their way there someday. That one day they'll stay and they'll like really just slow down and be like, oh, I didn't know I needed that.
Yeah. I don't think they do. I mean, this is a whole different audience. It's like the sculpt people, but I don't think they realize it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, and we're in a very Western world of like yoga. Like America has taken this thing that has been done for thousands of years and has turned it into like a workout thing. So now people go to yoga and they think they're getting their workout, but they actually don't remember that the yoga is not even about the movement. It's about the thing that's on the inside.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, explain more what you mean by that.
The thing on the inside, and so like what my philosophy as a teacher is, and what I really want to be doing for people is creating places of discovery for people. Like that's sort of my mission in life, whatever we're doing, whether it's through a conversation like this, like how are we opening up pathways to discovering more that we didn't know was there. And through a movement practice, again, like my job is to take care of you and your body for an hour and then see what happens through that. So it's like, how do we get people to slow down and feel what's happening instead of thinking about the laundry list of things they have to do?
Yeah.
And how do we turn a workout into an experience that is more eye-opening or more heart-centered?
Yeah.
And for me, that's a lot of it is like taking our time through some of the places. I think of flow as like the big warm-up and expressing yourself through freedom and that movement quality, and then we really ground down. So we'll hold a warrior one or a humble warrior for 10 to 20 breaths and see what sort of stuff that brings up. Right. So what happens when you are holding a lunge for 2-ish minutes, and like one of my students likes to describe it as anger sharks. He's like, the anger sharks just start swimming in my brain and I just have to like slow them down, and then there's joy on the other side. And so what happens when you are confronted with like a lot of effort? What happens when you're confronted with discomfort? Right,
discomfort.
And how do you respond to all of it? What do you learn about yourself through that experience? Right. Again, that you are probably more capable than you are. Right. That you are stronger than you already, that you thought you were. That you do like to run away from discomfort. Like, can you discover that in 2 minutes? That you actually just really don't want to be in this pose and like really are craving a break. And so like, what do? You have this moment where like, can I stay here for one more breath?
You're like, it can't be that much longer. And then it's like, okay, hello. Like,
you're like, I've been here for 10 of them. You said 2 more 5 minutes ago. And like, I try to be really honest with you all. If I say 4 breaths, like I'm going to take 4 of those breaths with you.
Yeah. They're long breaths.
They're very long. But yeah, what happens in that moment? Like we have this sort of decision making that we can decide. Yeah. Am I the person that can stay here a little longer, or am I the person that wants to run away from the feeling? Right. And so hopefully we're learning something. We're learning what it is. It doesn't have, we're not all learning the same thing. We're all in different places. Yeah. So if one day that you're learning like I just need to take a break, like then what's the question on the other side of that? Like what is it that you need a break from.
Right.
And so now I start to get into these questions of like, what is holding me back from doing the hard thing?
Right, doing the hard thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like in class, the hard thing is just a lunge for a little bit longer, but on the outside of it is like, it's the heavy conversation that you need to have. It's leaving your job. It's deciding to create a family, deciding to go find the person you want to be with. There's so like, what's holding you back from the thing that's uncomfortable?
Exactly. But that's so much about like my mission too. It's like breaking free, right, from whatever is holding you back. And if you can incorporate yourself into a practice like yoga, I think that could help you dig a little bit deeper into what it is that you need to like break free from. Yeah. Because if we physically are challenged, then maybe it actually makes us think about what we really do need to change from within to but it's like working through the discomfort to get to where we want to go. And I think a lot of times we don't know where we want to go, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just a very interesting practice that I think has so many benefits because it's the things we're doing on the mat that can teach us about life outside of the mat, right? So within anything too, you're like at a light or there's a driver who cuts you off and it's like, okay, you can choose to be angry or you can choose to just like breathe through it, you know? You have no control over that person, but you can choose how you respond. And I think a lot with yoga, it helps you just like take a breath and like let it be for a second, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Like I love what you said about just like, you can't control the other person. You can't control like the person who cut you off, but you can control your state within that. So like when that happens and this like rage like is like within you because you're so mad at this other person, like it's yoga helps you find that awareness to like all this gripping that you were doing, like in that 20 breath warrior one, you're just like, gosh, I hate it. I can't stand it. I'm just feeling so much like, well, what if I just let go, stayed in the shape and just didn't clench my fist there, took a breath in and just sat with the uncomfy part for a second.
And I think that's the hardest part is sitting with the uncomfortable, right? But I believe sitting with the uncomfortable is how you actually heal because you're allowing yourself to feel. Yeah. Right? And like you said earlier, it's like, okay, when you just want to run and you're like, oh, this is painful, but like, what are you running from? Right? So it's like, there is a lot of like inner work, I think, that can be done through the practice of yoga.
For sure. And it's just, and it's going to be different for everybody of like, is someone running away from something? Is someone trying to figure out what they need to run to? Like, but we don't know like what one posture can do for some people, you know? And then it's like, we get to go through like, that's one day, but it could be a completely different style of class or a completely different like muscle focus or like, what if we were doing big heart openers and like, like your teacher has you do like 3 wheels in a row and then you leave class and you're like, gosh, the world is just so beautiful and bright and like how do I take this like open feeling that is like happening into this exploration of my new day now.
Right. And apply it to your life or how you can like shine your light to others or go after the dreams that are really within, right? It gives us maybe that extra confidence of like, we can do this. We've got this. It's possible.
Yeah. There's this like weird, fun, mystical thing that happens inside of the shapes that just speak to all the stuff on the inside. And whether you know it or not, like, I think it's I don't know if I would say an advanced place to be to like know exactly what's happening after that.
Right.
That might not be the right choice of words, but to be so aware of like, oh, okay, my heart is really open to things. Like, what can I do with that?
Right.
Or maybe we're hitting the person who like is just like, wow, that felt really good. I'm gonna go like volunteer somewhere because I just feel like called to do something. They don't even know what's going on, but there is this thing that happened through this movement experience and this listening that like the sort of like subtle body is doing through a physical practice like yoga.
Yeah. That's amazing. I remember like my first year, and they say this a lot during your first year. It wasn't actually at Core, it was like at Radiant, but just like crying a lot on the mat, and probably from the hip stuff. But it was just like, wow, how much stuff has been built up there that you're just like releasing all these emotions. Like it doesn't happen for me anymore, but it's wild because I think we store so much stuff in our body, and then once you start to move it, you're like releasing it, but you're also like opening yourself up to like the possibilities, or like releasing the gunk that you need to get rid of to like open your heart for what you're meant for,
and like in through whatever yoga version that you're doing, whether it's 2 minutes of breathing or a 90-minute hot class, like that process of moving, even if it's just breathing, the breath, like the body's still inhaling and exhaling, so that sort of taking in and letting go feeling, it's this sort of process of moving, again, like you said, that stuff around, and then letting things just be free and flowing. I always like think about like when we're laying down, a lot of times I like to take the moment after we're doing something really exciting, like after flow or after we do some intense core work, to just lay there and sort of feel that sort of like fuzziness that's kind of running through. It's like this little electric current that, or like a water hose, if you close the hose and it doesn't stop, when like moving all this stuff around, it's just like untying all these knots. And then now you can notice everything is like going through in this like energetic state.
No, it happens, and I think it's good to just like that's why Shavasana is so good, because it's like, okay, just allow yourself to feel it. Or after like a camel pose of opening the heart or anything, it's like just like, okay, like a few seconds to just like breathe and feel what you're feeling. Because even I think one of the yoga teachers, Anthony, that you were talking about, one of the classes I took from him, he was so inspiring, but this I will never forget. And he said, in order to heal, you have to feel. But he was the first one who brought that up, and it was in a yoga class. And it's so true, because we need to allow ourselves to actually feel so we can get to the root and heal, and then get to really who we are or who we want to be, right? And that goes into like that whole inner work, the inner being that you're talking about. Because isn't that who we, like, don't we want that inner being, that person to shine and be the best versions of ourselves?
Absolutely.
But how are we ever going to get there if we're not allowing like the stuff to flow through, or the gunk to leave that needs to leave, and for us to actually like sit and process like whatever it is we're feeling?
Well, and like the thing is like there's so many people walking around that don't even know they're stuck. And they don't even know that there was something there to process until somebody like just did like a little like tap on their shoulder and was like, hey, this thing is like really hard right now. Like, do you understand that it's okay to, it doesn't have to like be your story anymore. Like you can, this is like creating what I think yoga does for people when they really like let go and settle into it. Is it just creates this awareness for people.
That's the biggest thing. It's an awareness. And because I think we're all in this rat race, right? And like go, 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 go. That's kind of how this American culture is here. But like, at least for me personally, when I found yoga, it, like you said earlier, it helps you slow down, right? It gives you that moment to just be. But until you get there, you really don't know, So it's like, if you don't, they say you don't know what you don't know, right? So a lot of people, it's just their life. It's just rush, rush, rush. It's that they don't even know that they're even holding on to maybe something that's like bringing them down, or that they're stuck in, right? And then it's until they have awareness, then you're like, wait a second. Oh, wow. Yeah, I need to release that, or I need to release that old story, or, like get back to who I am or who I want to be. But it's until an awareness creeps in, then I don't think change is ever made, because you're not even aware of it. And so like even part of my mission here, it's like, okay, let's break free, but you might not even know that you're like stuck in this comfortable cage, right? But it's like, in order to get out of the cage, you've got to go through a little bit of discomfort, which no one likes that. But when you conquer discomfort, that's when you realize, I think, that there are possibilities, and it's possible. Like, you can be free. You can be who you want to be, you know? Yeah. So I think just like being aware and like utilizing yoga as a tool to like get you there is like great medicine, you know?
Yeah. We just need to be more present humans, you know, with so many parts of our lives. And the more people who are doing this work and who are taking care of themselves in this way and who are listening in this way, I think they're also going to like spread the ripple of this stuff like into other people's lives. And the more aware and present we all are, like, we can really start to build a life that is like fruitful and just more sweet with the things that we're looking for, instead of being so tied down just by the norm, I suppose. Or by the things that like we have to do, or that we think we have to do.
Right.
You know.
We think,
Yeah. The thing that we've just been doing the whole time, and which, like you've said, like you didn't know that was actually what was holding you back, or you know, that's what you were like stuck from. Yeah. Just because you didn't really open yourself up to the moment of like, what happens if I just do something else and pay attention here.
Right.
Because you can go to your 9 to 5 every day. Yeah. I mean, you can go to a yoga class every day and not pay attention.
That's true.
But until someone asks you to like slow down and feel something, then you start to wake up. You're like, oh, I didn't know life could be this like zesty.
Right. Or it's like, wait, I didn't want to feel that, but I needed to feel that. Yeah. You know? And allowing yourself to feel, as opposed to just stuffing it away or numbing it out or whatever, and just like sit in the uncomfortable and feel what you got to feel, and then take the steps to get out of that stuck feeling and to go after whatever it is you want, you know? Yeah. It's just, it's just, I don't know, life is interesting. And I don't know, maybe that's why we're both so drawn to yoga, because I feel like people from yoga have all sorts of different backgrounds, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm sure you see it all, right, with all your students, but everybody's different, but somehow we come together like as this community, and that we all have like a mindset, I think, of like openness in a way, and also like awareness. And I mean, not everybody obviously, but like there is a sense of community that it's like we get it. Like, we know there's another way, or at least through yoga and like movement, we can be truly who we are. I don't know. Does that make sense?
I think so. And I think what you might be like kind of talking about, or sort of like feeling too, is like, you know, like in the moments of class where your teacher asks you to take a big breath in, and everybody just like sends like their air out together, and there's that sort of like community feeling. Yeah. I think it's simply presence. Like, everybody just decided that they were going to be here and light it up for a second. They were just really going to give themselves there to the moment. And it's somebody called you into action and said, like, be here. And then you chose to be here, and magically the other 28 people in the room also chose to be there too. And then everybody, there's just this sort of connectivity that lights up. Like, if you put 30 lights on, the room is much brighter if there's just one. Right. Yeah, so it's interesting.
No, but that's an interesting concept too, because maybe we're all getting a little bit of that light that we need, right? So then instead of, you know, one light shining, we all leave yoga feeling a little bit brighter, right? Yeah. So then we're shining our light to other people. And then, like you said earlier, it's like the ripple effect, right? Mm-hmm. And I know one of the things you've told me once, I don't know, it was weird. I don't know, maybe it was before my trip, but you said something like, well, we need to be the change. We need to be the change that you want to see in the world. Because sometimes I think we can get so discouraged and thinking, well, how is it what I'm doing, or I'm being nice to one person, is that going to make a difference? But like, we can't shut off because the world is, you know, chaos.
Yeah, well, and truly, like, if you are nice to one human, that human is going to like see that little light that you brought into the world and let theirs shine, and then they're going to maybe smile at somebody else. Like, there is this big ripple of stuff that happens.
Yeah.
And even if you go to yoga and you just breathe and kind of take care of yourself and you feel a little bit better, your energy of feeling better comes off in the conversation that you have with the person that you meet next, just by sort of slowing down and taking care of you and getting to a present place with you, that energy is transferred to every single thing that happens, and then that energy is transferred to all the other things. So if you want to be like, if you want to smile at somebody, like, they are going to get that sort of brightness, and then somebody else is going to be affected by the one thing that you did.
Right. And sometimes you never know, right? Even you probably told me that and you didn't think like I'd remember it, but like, and it's out there, that saying is out there, but like for some reason that day that you said that, I needed to hear that, right? Like, be the change you need to see in the world. Because I think we can feel often kind of small, like, how is it just me that can make a difference? But it's like, we've got to keep shining our own light, because we're the ones who are going to, help with the ripple and spread it out among everyone else. So I don't know. It's just like, I don't think we realize sometimes our impact we have on other people. And I think too, just you being a teacher, you probably have more impact than you even realize. And it's like, just keep doing your thing and shining your light, because it does make a difference. Like, it really does. And like, maybe people won't tell you right after class, or like, oh, that really resonated with me, but it did, right? So thank you for being you. And but it's true, and it's like, the world can be cruel. So I feel like maybe that's too why I like the yoga community, because I feel like we all try to come together and shine our light, or at least some wisdom or light, onto others. And it's a very welcoming, kind of loving atmosphere. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying everybody needs to go to yoga, but it's like that philosophy of kind of like love, like we are one, right? Mm-hmm. So let's treat each other with love and kindness and watch the world change, right? Like one person at a time. So thank you for, being you and always spreading your wisdom and like, love.
Truly, this will bring it back to like the thing that you were saying too, of like, thank you for being you, because I don't get to do what I do without like the person who's there to listen to that, and the smile who's receiving that. Like, I get so much feedback from the person in the room, the people in the room. Like, so thank you for also being open to like being a student, so that there is like, there's something for me to do. Like, I share some of the things that I share because of the energy that's in the room, just because of who's there to be open to it. So it is just this beautiful exchange of like teacher and student, person to person. Like, that's why I get to show up and do what I do, is because of you guys too.
Yeah. No, it's a beautiful little like community. So I encourage you guy, try a yoga class if you haven't. Just start. The first one you might hate, because like I hated mine too. Like a friend, I it was just at like 24 Hour Fitness, but it was like my first, and I'm like, this is not fun. Yeah. But then gradually, you get into it and you're like, wow, this is really doing wonders for me. And now like I can't go without it for a few days or I get grumpy.
I mean, and part of that, like, maybe it was just the uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this isn't fun. And like, it could have just been like, my leg has never been in a lunge this deep before, and I'm just feeling things that are just like,
true.
I don't, like, it's just foreign, you know, until you create some sort of discipline within it, and then it starts to do the thing. It starts to open you up.
Yeah.
And it could have just been like,
that's true.
Real subconscious again, like, you're like, I didn't enjoy that, but maybe there was a reason why you didn't. It was just new, and it was just uncomfy because it was new.
Yeah, because it was new.
And I think that's a big reason why people don't branch out.
Yeah.
Like, that's, like, the starting something, the newness of things is mostly the uncomfortable part of something. Right. And that's, like, also the thing that holds people back. They're like, if I go outside of the cage, if I fly outside of the door, there's going to be, like, wind. Yeah. There's going to be, like, it's going to be hot. It might be cold. It's just going to be something that I'm not used to.
Right.
And it might not even be bad or good. It's just foreign.
It's different.
Just different. And so, therefore, I'm uncomfortable. Therefore, I'm not going to do. I'm not going to try. But sometimes pushing past the newness of things is, like, the hurdle people need to get through, too.
Right.
and like letting themselves be bad at something, maybe like the uncomfortable part of like, oh, I was not like the star in the room. Anthony, like, he'll tell you that story. Is like, he went to his first yoga class and he's like, I was gonna win the yoga. He's like, I did not win the yoga.
Wow. But he didn't give up, right?
Oh no, I mean, now like he's one of the people who has impacted my life the most in this setting, and is part of the reason why I'm still doing this. And and he's touched so many lives through like perseverance, through like keeping that practice alive. And
it's just like working through the uncomfortable, you know, and like working towards where you want to go. Because you're right, we so often just get stuck and it's uncomfortable, so we don't make a change, we just stay. You know. But I want to talk about what you're doing. I mean, you're obviously still in yoga, but you're starting a new venture too, right?
I am. And
let's hear about it.
I wiggle around.
Make yourself comfortable. Should we do a yoga posture?
We should. I mean, I'm going to eat some yoga after sitting for a little bit. But so I've been teaching for about 9 years, and then throughout, like, I teach physical yoga in a yoga studio with your body, and we know that that's only one part of the yoga experience. And yoga is so much more about like getting to a connected space within yourself. And there was a part of my life where I was really sad and like did not have great relationships within like my family and within my life. And so I like looked for help. I looked for resources. I looked for somebody to talk to, and how that landed in my life was a coach, a life coach, if you will, or a personal development coach. Like I started seeing a friend of mine in that relationship, and we worked within that relationship for about, I don't know, maybe 2.5 years.
Wow.
And it very similarly to how like I started taking yoga, like it was uncomfy, but then I got to this point where I was like, actually, I can maybe do this for people too.
Right.
And I was already like a different person because I'd been teaching yoga for 6 or 7 years. So I was like a seasoned teacher and had this experience of like being with people and having a point of view on like how to help people in that capacity within 60 minutes. And so going through a coaching relationship was like, this is the same thing through a different modality, through a different lens. Like, how can we take the thing that I'm trying to do in a yoga class, which is create a place of discovery for people through a physical lens, through that branch of yoga, and like, what if we did it within an hour of conversation? And so I was in that relationship as a client for a few years, and then decided to sort of take this leap and become a coach. And so that's amazing. Friend Anthony, who we've mentioned many times in this pod already, like he's the one who
maybe he'll be on, right?
Maybe wink wink. I just graduated from his program. I mean, he took a leap and created a curriculum of the thing that he had been doing for years, and decided to start teaching people how to do this. So I've been his student for many years in a yoga capacity, and then decided to take this journey with him and learn how to do this for people within conversation. So now I am a certified personal development coach, and that's the thing that I'm doing next. And again, my goal is to create these places of discovery for people. So like, how do we take an hour of conversation and really allow ourselves to get to maybe that uncomfortable place that we don't want to talk about, and see what's underneath it all. Like, my job is to ask you the questions so that you can do that self-inquiry of like, why don't I want to go and start the thing I want to do? What is scary about that? What is... Is it because it's new? Okay, well, that's something I can coach you on. Like, I can coach you through newness because it's uncomfortable, but we have the tools to be uncomfortable. You know? And then once we're uncomfortable, we start to build a tolerance to like letting our like starting like a running pace, like, oh, now you're going, and then what else becomes possible when you're just willing to sit with that little thing. So that's what I'm doing now.
That's exciting.
And there's so many other adventures in that, like the thing that you said 3 years ago that you're still holding on to, like, what if we broke that down and allowed ourselves to like forgive ourselves from that thing that was holding us back from just accepting ourselves and accepting the thing that we did, and allowing ourselves to forgive us, you know.
Our own selves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I'm currently working on.
I love it. I mean, it's like you're here to help people break free too, you know?
Yeah, very much. Like, I hope that through talking, you get to see that there's just so much more that you're capable of, I think. And my job's to see like where you've been holding yourself back so that you truly can just soar and see where you get to go from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. It's like it's wanting to take that next step though, and knowing that you need something more and allowing yourself to receive the help that you need to like get you there, you know?
Yeah. And so I think my message to people who are in that space maybe is like, we all need help.
We all do. That's the thing. We all do.
I think to sort of bring it back.
No, but that's we do. Like, we all need help. We all need help. Please.
We aren't meant to be solitary creatures. Like, I think to bring it back to what you're saying is like, we live in a community.
Yeah.
And when you jump into community, you actually like take in so much of the people who are around you, and then you realize that there's so much more to life. And sometimes that community might look like one person who's able to like just show you that things aren't as bad as you think that they are, to show you that you're stronger than you think that you are, to like validate all the things that you're already doing so great. Like like sometimes you just need like a hype girl.
Right. That's so true though.
But yeah, we weren't meant to be these solitary creatures to do everything. Like, if you look at humanity, like we started in these pods of people who really worked together to create life. You know, like we weren't all like nomadic little beings. We were doing stuff as communities, and so we do need help to keep going. It takes a village for sure.
It does. But I think a lot of us are so used to just figuring it out on our own, and that could be very lonely and isolating.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just opening yourself up to like, no, I'm done tolerating the intolerable, or I'm like annoyed with myself that I'm feeling stuck, and it's like, I need help, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I took a life coaching course too, like in 2020, because I just got to the point of like, I'm not happy. Like I need to work through this, you know? And because it's like I did yoga teacher training, I did the life coaching stuff, and now it's like, okay, I'm doing this, but it's like reach out to the people who can help you at least navigate. And I believe we're all on our own journey, but someone can really help you kind of navigate your own self to get to where you want to be, you know?
Yeah, it's nice to have another set of eyes on things.
Yeah.
One, also just to not feel alone.
Yeah,
like,
that's a huge thing.
To not feel like the thing that you're suffering from and the thing that's really hard about life that's bringing you down, like to think like you don't have to go through that by yourself.
Right.
Ever. And I think the person that decides that they want to start coaching is definitely somebody who has brought themselves into an awareness of that.
Right.
It's like, oh, I need support.
Yeah.
You know, I need just an extra set of hands here. Like I can't spin all these plates alone. And trying to think. I think I lost my train of thought for like a hot second.
Yeah, no, you're doing great.
Yeah, thanks.
Basically, we're all a hot mess, you know, and it's okay to ask for help and get someone to help guide you and coach you through it. Because honestly, we all need it. Let's be real. Like,
yes, but here's what I was going to with all that goodness is that like, you need somebody to help you. Like, sometimes we just need someone to help you build this inner culture.
Yeah.
Like, you just need a second set of eyes. Or, like, if you've tasted the thing too many times, like, if you're, like, cooking a soup and you've tasted the thing, like, too many times, like, you start to just not even know, like, what's there.
Oh,
like,
that's a good analogy.
You know, like
that.
Maybe you need somebody else to be like, there's a little too much garlic in this. Like, maybe you need to, like, add a little bit more broth to things. Like,
I like that.
you just need a different set of eyes to help you. And honestly, it's not even that I'm not doing the work, you're doing the work.
Yeah.
I'm just asking the questions to hopefully light up the new pathways in your brain that help you think of the other possibilities that there are.
Yeah.
And that help you slow down and take a little bit of a breath when the difficult feelings come up. I think the biggest thing that happens when we start coaching too is like we get to a feeling and they're like, oh, no, I don't want to talk about that. Well,
right.
Why don't you want to talk about it?
Right.
What's going on here?
Yeah.
Like maybe we should open this can of worms and let everything out, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then through that, you start to build this like inner culture that is capable of dealing with the uncomfy parts. And is capable of like, this looks kind of challenging to sit with, but I think I'm equipped to do so now.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe we all have the tools, you know. It's just like putting them into play.
Yeah.
Or like you said, walking them, or I don't want to go to the mountain. It's like, okay, well, get a pair of shoes, you know? Start training, get the map. Like, it's like one step in front of the other, right? Like, and when you have a guide or a coach to kind of help you through, then it's just going to make your journey that much more.
Yeah, like a beginner doesn't have to climb Mount Everest by themselves. They're probably going to have somebody who has done it before.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
like
true.
Somebody who's actually been through the training of the uncomfy thing that is going to take you the rest of the way. Like let somebody who's already like paved that path guide you through it.
Right. Who's done the work, who's done the training.
Like we don't have to like chop down trees ourselves to like make our way through things. I mean, we can.
Yeah.
But what if we actually just said, hey, I know you've been through this, like, can you help me go through it too?
Right. As opposed to feeling like we have to tackle everything alone.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, or like that it's more worthwhile if we did it by ourselves. It means more that we did it by ourselves. Like that's a false thing too.
Right.
Like,
that's a story, I think.
Yeah,
that's to kind of let go of.
Yeah, a belief system that just really isn't going to work for you for the rest of your life.
Right.
It's only going to keep you in a small place. Yeah. If you think about that community aspect that you're talking about, like there's this like beautiful thing that happens when you put all those people in a room and they start to breathe together. There's this like life that gets just even more precious and even more like sweet to soak up, and that's because of all of the color that there is inside of it. And so if you're just like one crayon drawing on a piece of paper, like we're never going to get all of the beautiful things that we can get with so many of us. So like let yourself be in relationship with other people. Let yourself be be held. Let yourself be guided through things. Yeah.
I think that's really nice. Because I think we're in a weird culture of like everyone is isolated. Everyone's just on their phone. Like they're not reaching out to community, you know, or reaching out for help. And it's like, I think we need human interaction. Like we need this, you know? And it's like letting go of the old story that like we don't, because we really do. Let's go back to how humanity started. It's always been community, right? So I love it.
Yeah, and just like having a place to put it outside of your own brain makes it so much easier. Like even this conversation, like I thought about like, okay, like what do I want to share? What do I want to go through? And then like getting to hear myself talk about it, I'm like, oh yeah, like there is a point of view that you have. Yeah. Here's a place that could be a little bit more clear. That's not as like thought out maybe. So maybe you can spend a little time here journaling later about the thing that is a little like out there, and can you streamline it? But if you just keep like turning it around by yourself, like you're just listening to your own thoughts every once in a while. Sometimes you need to like express things vocally, let someone hear them, feel like the energy exchange within that, and then you have just more data of what's working. Right. And again, so if you do that all by yourself constantly, you're only getting one processing system to run all this stuff through. So again, hang out with somebody and have a conversation, and then see what you learn like, through that.
But that's the thing too, even like with me doing this, like I'm learning something from everybody, right? And I'm sure like vice versa, it's like, oh wait, that gave me something to think about, you know? But it's like, how can we, break free together and help others break free and really become their true, authentic selves, right?
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. That's ultimately like my goal is like, we just gotta like go after it. Just start, you know?
Yeah. I know. Just put one foot in front of the other.
One foot in front of the other. So, what do you have to say to like close this? Any final thoughts or words of wisdom for people who are either maybe thinking about like, oh, maybe I should go to a yoga class, or like, you know what, I really do think I might want to coach? What would you suggest for them?
Just do it.
Just do it.
The yoga part, just go to class.
Just go to class.
Like, sign up, do the thing. Take your friend with you.
I've got a buddy pass if you guys need, come to a class with me. We'll go to Rebecca's.
Like, for the yoga part, make a date with somebody. Like, take your friend.
Yeah.
Do something together. Just get into the room and commit to being there. And I think that is like just start is like the thing that you and I keep coming back to a lot of the times is like, just do it and then see what happens. So be open to the possibility of goodness coming to you by just walking into the space. And then you don't even have to do anything from there, friends. Like, just walk in. Just walk in, take a breath, and then let everything unfold. As far as like working with a coach, like, I think even that advice is the same. Reach out.
Yeah.
Do the thing.
Yeah.
Have one conversation and see what that brings you. And if you don't feel like it added any value, like, you don't have to sign up for a package with the person that you're talking to. Like, just take the one discovery call. Like, let opportunity like open you up to possibility.
Right.
Like, most coaches, like everyone in my cohort, we have a free first time call.
Oh, that's
so like
good.
Take advantage of the person in front of you and let them hear your story and like see what it feels like to let go of some of the stuff that you've just been like swirling around on the inside. So again, just be open to possibility. Let opportunity help you expand.
Yeah.
And if you feel like, if you're listening to that and you feel like that it didn't add any value to your day, you don't have to continue. You get to look for something else.
Right.
But I guarantee you, something will come out of something.
For sure.
Whether you are paying a coach or you're walking to a yoga class or you're just having a conversation with a friend, you're going to learn something if you allow yourself to be open to that possibility.
Yeah.
So just take up the opportunity.
Yeah. I love that. Be open.
Yeah.
That's big.
It is. It's hard.
It's hard. Just open yourself up and see the magic that can flow in.
Yeah. I think just take it from like two girlies who are like, who've already done, like we've walked that path. They're like, we're open. We're saying, come and bring all the goodness to us, universe.
Bring in the goodness. Bring in the love.
And so if like these two humans can feel the effects of that, so can you.
And we admit that we all need help. We needed help.
Yeah.
So this just didn't happen overnight.
Yeah, so if you've taken my class and like you're like, this girl's got it all together, please know that I did not have it all together at one point.
Yeah, me neither, and I'm still figuring it out.
Exactly.
It's a constant struggle, just so you know. But you know what? We're moving forward.
Exactly.
One day at a time, one step, right?
Like someone's going to come by with a boat that you can hop into. Like, you don't have to swim by yourself forever.
It sounds nice. Somewhere warm.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, friend.
Thank you. I'm so happy.
I'm glad we did this.
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
Yay.
Cheers, people. And we look forward to flying with you. And just do it. That's the thing. Just start.
Do it. Just start. Go outside, soak up the sun, and see what happens.
Yeah. See what happens. Cheers.